You're standing at the southern tip of an island the Lenape people call Manhattan, the island of many hills. Behind you, dense woodland thrives, filled with oak, hickory, and chestnut trees. Wild turkeys call from the undergrowth, their sounds echoing through the air. In front of you lies a small settlement, housing around 1,500 people. Wooden houses, adorned with stepped gable roofs in Dutch style, line the streets. A windmill turns slowly in the breeze, the hum of daily life beginning to stir. A canal runs through the center of town, while a formidable wall, 9 feet high and crafted from wooden planks, encircles the area, stretching from the East River to the Hudson. This structure is not mere decoration. It stands as a defense against the English to the north and the Lenape to the west, safeguarding Dutch control over this thriving trading post. This is New Amsterdam, the capital of New Netherland, a Dutch colony that reaches from the Delaware River to Connecticut. The year is 1664, and the iron-fisted governor, Peter Stuyvesant, enforces his rule with unwavering authority. Unbeknownst to you, but today, right now, this is still a bustling Dutch town, echoing with the sounds of 18 languages. Beaver pelts flow through the marketplace like water, and while the Dutch Reformed Church sets the rules, the people find ways to bend them. Dawn breaks just before sunrise in late August. The air is warm and humid as you position yourself outside Fort Amsterdam, the star-shaped fortress at the island's southern tip. Within its walls reside the Director General's residence, government offices, a small garrison of soldiers, and a chapel. The fort's walls, built from red and yellow bricks brought from Holland, rise tall and imposing. The Dutch flag, with its orange, white, and blue stripes, flutters proudly from the central tower. Suddenly, the bell of the Dutch Reformed Church rings, signaling the time for morning prayers. This church serves as the moral compass of New Amsterdam, with Reverend Samuel Megapolensis ensuring attendance. The church building stands simple and wooden, devoid of Catholic ornamentation, stripped away during the Reformation. Yet the congregation is anything but uniform. Dutch merchants in dark wool coats mingle with Walloons, French-speaking Protestants fleeing persecution, and Africans, some enslaved, others free. The Dutch West India Company has brought enslaved individuals from Angola and the Congo, many finding freedom through marriage or hard work. Germans, Scandinavians, and English settlers who arrived before the colony was firmly Dutch add to this melting pot. Even Sephardic Jews, fleeing Brazil's Portuguese reconquest in 1654, find refuge here, despite Stuyvesant's initial attempts to ban them. Trade holds more weight than religion in this bustling colony. After morning prayers, you stroll down Pearl Street, which hugs the East River shoreline. Named for the oyster shells that once carpeted the beach, the path gleams white in the early light. The scent of baking bread wafts through the air as a Dutch bakery opens its doors. The baker's wife sets out Coke, Dutch cookies, alongside Olie Cokes, fried dough balls, the ancestors of the modern donut. You purchase one still warm and dusted with sugar. Breakfast for many consists of simple fare, bread, butter. As morning unfolds, the harbor comes alive. Ships anchored offshore bob gently while small boats ferry cargo between ship and shore, unloading the bounty of trade. You walk toward the strand, the beach where ships dock. Just arrived from Fort Orange, the Dutch trading post where Albany now stands, men unload beaver pelts, hundreds bundled and stacked, each one a treasure in Amsterdam. This is the lifeblood of New Amsterdam, beaver fur, essential for the fashionable felt hats of Europe, sought after by every gentleman. The Dutch West India Company, or WIC, controls this lucrative trade. Native Americans, primarily Mohawk and Mohican, hunt and trap beaver upriver, trading pelts for European goods, metal tools, cloth, beads, and guns. The pelts make their way down the Hudson River to New Amsterdam before being shipped to Amsterdam for transformation into hats, reaping profits. However, this trade is precarious. Beaver populations dwindle due to overhunting, and competition with English colonies grows fierce. As the walking inland, you navigate past the Herengracht, the Gentleman's Canal. Dutch engineers carved this waterway along what is now Broad Street, a smaller version of Amsterdam's canals, lined with warehouses. Tobacco from Virginia and Maryland awaits shipment to Europe, alongside timber from upriver forests and grain from farms in Long Island and the Hudson Valley. Nearby, a merchant argues loudly with a ship captain over storage fees, their words echoing in Dutch. New Amsterdam pulses with noise, a chaotic tapestry of languages and cultures. The streets remain unpaved, mere dirt paths that transform into mud when it rains. Pigs and goats roam freely, serving as the colony's garbage disposal system amid the overwhelming stench of refuse and fish guts mixing with salt air and sewage. It's mid-morning and the taverns have opened their doors. New Amsterdam faces a drinking problem. With about 1,500 residents, 1 in 4 buildings serve as taverns. Stuyvesant's attempts to regulate them, limiting hours and reducing licenses, fall flat. The most notorious tavern, the step inside, greeted by low ceilings and wooden benches. Smoke from clay pipes hangs in the air as men indulge in Geneva, Dutch gin, beer and Kildevil, rum from the Caribbean. They play golf, an early form of golf, indoors on the tavern floor while chaos reigns around them. Dice clatter, cards are shuffled, and even under Stuyvesant's prohibition, gambling flourishes unabated. By midday, you wander through the narrow streets. The houses reflect Dutch architecture with stepped gable roofs, brick for the wealthy and wood for the less fortunate. Small diamond pane windows sparkle in the light. Front doors often feature a horizontal split, allowing the top half to open while keeping animals at bay. Peeking inside one home, you glimpse simple wooden furniture. A cast, a large Dutch wardrobe takes up space on one wall, while a massive fireplace dominates the room, an iron pot simmering over the fire preparing stampot, mashed vegetables with sausage. The walls are adorned. Dutch homes are meticulously clean. Women scrub floors constantly, upholding the belief that cleanliness is next to godliness. However, not all housing reflects this ideal. Near the fort, rough wooden shacks house enslaved Africans, cramped and lacking privacy. The Wick provides minimal accommodations, often less than private owners. Some enslaved people cultivate small gardens, nurturing okra and watermelon, crops from Africa that thrive in this new land. They communicate in Dutch but also speak Portuguese Creole learned from Angola, English picked up from traders, and African languages preserved in secret. Sundays are a respite, a day to gather, trade, and speak freely. At the edge of town, you spot Lenape people trading corn, fish, and furs for metal tools, cloth, and wampum beads. Wampum, crafted shell beads, serves as currency among the native peoples. Relations with the Lenape are strained, marked by a history of conflicts such as Kieft's War in the 1640s. Brutal skirmishes left villages in ashes and lives shattered. Today, uneasy coexistence persists. Trade occurs, but trust remains elusive. Most Lenape have retreated further inland as land is cleared, trees felled for timber and farms developed. As afternoon descends, you approach the town center and spot a windmill 4 stories high, its sails turning gently in the breeze. This structure is vital. It transforms grain into flour. Farmers bring wheat, corn, and rye, with the miller taking a percentage as payment. Inside, the machinery roars, wooden gears and millstones grinding away, while the miller, cloaked in white dust, barks instructions over the din. Flour is a cornerstone of survival. Without it, there is no bread. Without bread, the colony falters. Scattered throughout town, various trades flourish. A stone maker cuts leather as labor needs arise. Most goods are imported from Amsterdam, but local crafts are essential. Labor remains costly, with skilled workers demanding high wages. The Wick constantly complains about expenses, while many craftsmen are indentured servants seeking to pay off passage from Europe. Others are former soldiers, or even enslaved Africans trained in trades. Outside the wall, small farms dot lower Manhattan, known as Boweries, where the Bowery derives its name. Stuyvesant owns an expansive farm further up the island, cultivating grain, vegetables, fruit, and raising livestock. Most farmers are Dutch, yet Walloons, Germans, and Scandinavians also toil the land. Land ownership is intricate. The Wick claims all territory but grants leases and creates patroonships for wealthy investors. As evening approaches, you return to the harbor, where silhouettes of ships darken against the vibrant orange sky. This harbor is the very reason New Amsterdam exists, deep, protected, and connected to a major river system, the Hudson, allowing access far inland. The English have coveted this territory for years, claiming a better right through Henry Hudson, who explored the river in 1609 while sailing for the Dutch East India Company. The English argue that since an English explorer discovered it, it rightfully belongs to England. With colonies to the north and south, New Amsterdam stands as a wedge within English territory. In 1664, King Charles II has decided he wants this land, granting it to his brother, the Duke of York, James Stuart. Soon, the name will change to New York. Presently, 4 English warships are sailing towards church bells toll for evening prayers, families gather for dinner, the main meal of the day. Hotspot, smoked fish, bread and beer fill the tables. Children dash through the streets playing kartsen, a handball game. Women fetch water from wells while men drift toward taverns, drawn to drink, argue and gamble, despite Stuyvesant's restrictions. The night watch begins its patrol, calling out the hours and watching for fire, the greatest threat in a town built of wood. Darkness envelops the town, with no streetlights illuminating the pathways, save for a few flickering lanterns. Inside a crowded tavern near the fort, the atmosphere is alive with noise and heat. Candles and oil lamps flicker as men indulge in Geneva, smoke long clay pipes, and debate in a cacophony of Dutch. Suddenly a fight erupts, over what? The origins remain unclear, perhaps the dice, a woman, or the sheer chaos of the atmosphere. The tavern keeper intervenes, threatening to call the scout, the local sheriff. This is New Amsterdam after dark, rowdy, unruly and barely contained. Stuyvesant loathes this disorder, continually striving to impose curfews and order, yet this port town hosts sailors, traders, soldiers and young men far from home. Control is elusive, containment all that can be managed. Outside the Dutch-controlled areas, enslaved and free Africans converge. Although barred from many taverns, they carve out their own spaces, nurturing a community rich with drums, dancing, and rhythms distinct. Here they share stories in a blend of Dutch, Portuguese, and languages from Angola and the Congo, weaving cultural survival into the fabric of their existence. You stand atop the wall, gazing south toward the harbor. Stars reflect on the dark water, ships rocking gently at anchor. This is New Amsterdam, August 1664, a small Dutch trading post, a community of 1,500 people, a tapestry of 18 languages, beaver pelts and ambition. In just 3 weeks, English warships will breach the horizon. Stuyvesant will prepare for conflict, loading cannons and fortifying the defenses, but the citizens will stand firm in their refusal to fight. Why die for the Dutch West India Company? They scarcely support this colony. On September 8, 1664, Stuyvesant will surrender without a single shot fired. New Amsterdam Dutch residents remain, for the most part, preserving their property, their language, and their Reformed church. Yet the flag will change, the name will change, and the future will shift. The canal will fill in, the wall will crumble, and the windmill will be dismantled. Street names will endure, Broekelen morphs into Brooklyn, Haarlem becomes Harlem, and the Bowery remains the Bowery. The Dutch language will seep into English, giving birth to words like cookie, boss, stoop, and Yankee. Yet the essence of the town, the character and Dutch control will vanish. You've journeyed through 24 hours in New Amsterdam, witnessing the last peaceful summer before everything alters forever.